Hey guys, welcome to Project Esports for February 11th, 2019. Overwatch League week, Valentine's League week, Invitational for Rainbow Six Siege week. Whatever you are into, it is your week. And I am so hyped. I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit later. Overwatch League hype went down a little bit from some of the issues we had over the weekend. But overall, Thursday cannot come soon enough. How are you guys feeling about all that? Dylan, you got your New Jersey on?
I got my New Jersey. I'm ready. I'm hyped. I'm ready for Washington Justice to beat New York this weekend. It's gonna be good. It's gonna
So
feel good,
we
dude.
asked you a little bit about like in Slack when you first got and stuff. Like, how would you rate the jersey so far for anyone that's still thinking about getting one?
Okay, so let me describe the jersey. It's like it's 100% polyester, so it's like it's all right feel. The fit is okay. The neckline is a little, I don't know, it feels like a little deep. It's a little deeper than it should be, but it's not bad. It's not bad. I would much rather like the shirt jersey than this
That's
one,
just good
but
though.
it's not as bad. It's not as bad as some other people's custom jerseys, to be honest.
James, you have stuff on the way though, right?
I do have stuff on the way.
Oh boy, we
I
did lag a little
believe.
bit, but yeah. And then I have my Valiant custom jersey all ordered on the way soon. That should be here hopefully. I think next week it was projecting, so I'm not gonna have it for opening night, but it doesn't matter. It's so worth it for the custom jersey. So I am incredibly hyped for that. But enough about that. We're talking enough about Overwatch League today. So let's get into a little bit of housekeeping before we jump in the first news story. If you guys do not remember, at the end of last week's episode or during the episode, we announced that we were doing an all access pass. That was going to be announced tonight. We will do that in the post show of the stream tonight. So you still have the entire episode to go to our Twitter, follow us, retweet it, and be entered for that chance. We'll tweet it out. We'll let you know on the post stream who is the official winner. So you make sure you still have another hour or so to enter that if you are watching live. So make sure to go and do that. But that's all we have for housekeeping today. We do have some exciting things in the work, but you will hear about all that down the road. But the first story we want to talk about is probably not the happiest way to kind of lead off, but it is something we need to bring up because we do talk so much about these parent companies that really run a lot of esports, and that is Blizzard announcing a ton of layoffs. So it's Activision Blizzard, so we need to take that into account when anything kind of like this happens. But James, Dylan, do one of you guys kind of want to look through that article a little bit and kind of go through what is happening over there?
Yeah, so obviously their stock prices haven't been looking too good, and specifically for the people being laid off. From the article, there was kind of a little quote, and I think it's pretty good. It's departments like marketing, sales, and publishing are the most likely to experience these
Which is a
cutbacks.
personal hit to me. I'm like, this is my dream job. I want to go into marketing for Blizzard or something like that. And to hear him coming back is never a good thing for anything. But obviously, losing jobs as a whole isn't good. But that's a personal hit to me. But go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's those departments that are going to be hit. So it's not going to, I think, affect any games that are currently going on right now. So we're not going to see another like Hearthstone esports cut or anything like that. It's going to be very indirectly related
Yeah.
to the games. I mean, it's still a big deal, and there's still a lot of people losing their jobs. Which, I mean, it's still like a couple hundred, which is huge. It's a huge amount of employees. So this isn't great. It's not looking too good. I feel like we always have bad things to say about Blizzard and Activision and stuff that's going on with them. So I mean, hopefully this is going to be a little bit of a turnaround for them, and hopefully.
I mean, like it's not like this is a pretty bad step. Like this is another thing to add to the pile of bad stuff that's happening over at like Activision Blizzard. Um, Not only this, but like Liquid's owner, I'm pretty sure like went on social media to bash them basically about how they handled Heroes of the Storm. So I mean, like it's like there's just one thing after another. And the worst part is like you can see like the stock decline after the like. It's like a year. It's like last year basically to date. It's been a steady decline, which is kind of, I mean, man, it's disheartening to see out of such a massive corporation that's done so well for so many games and like has produced so many games too, really good things, right? But I don't know, man. I don't know. Ever since Green Jesus left us, it's just been a bad time.
Yeah. I mean, but so cutting back in sales and marketing and all that kind of stuff. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, how much does Blizzard really need to advertise their games? I mean, I think getting that initial launch and getting the Overwatch League advertised and out there. And I'm not justifying all of this, But I'm just saying,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like they're releasing anything new right now. Obviously, the marketing and research and the stuff they did on Diablo Immortal wasn't correct there. So I think they're just overcompensating for the launch of the Overwatch League, for the Call of Duty League kicking off. Like, they just had a lot of big things launch, and this obviously has to do with a lot of budget cuts inside of Blizzard Activision. But it's also because they probably bulked up for the launch of their biggest esports league yet. And now they're starting to pull some things back, is maybe what I'm thinking. Kind of what we talked about with Optic a while back, is that they just hired on, they want to grow so quick. And now they're like, okay, we actually didn't need some of these. And marketing and sales is usually the first to go, because that is the easiest to bring on in bulk. And especially with salespeople, especially with bulk, you can bring them on for social media, content creation, all that kind of stuff. And it's not justifying letting go that many people, but I can see maybe, hopefully that's the reason why, is they're just cutting back bulk, but that still doesn't make it great.
I definitely disagree. So it's one thing to hire on excess and then cut the excess whenever you don't, but that's all things that you plan for, and this doesn't seem like this is just like, oh, stuff is bad, we're really cutting back. So I mean, they could have hired on too much, and then that is kind of like a problem that led into this. But I don't think that is just what they're doing. It's not like, oh, it's normal like seasonal layoffs or whatever that we normally go through. It's no, we can't afford our employees.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be one thing if we didn't see like if the proof wasn't out there that like, you know, stocks are declining, stuff like that. Bad PR is left, right, and center. Like if there wasn't that going on too, it might be like, well, like, you know, they planned for this and stuff like that. But yeah, I think there's too much evidence that supports that this is like, oh crap, we got to cut people. Who can we easily cut and rehire on easily?
Yeah,
marketing.
And
you know what I mean, right?
That's probably what it seems like more. I'm trying to say like, oh, hopefully this is kind of what it was, but when it's that big of a cutoff, you guys are probably right on. I'm just kind of saying like, oh, maybe this is a hopeful side, but when this many people lose jobs, it's usually not expected, and it is not what you want. And I mean, we see the same thing kind of happening for a different reason, but over at like the Disney Fox merger, it's not the same thing, but hundreds of jobs are being lost there too, and entertainment industry is just not great for consistency sometimes in some jobs.
Well, yeah, that's just it, right? Like, I mean, I don't want to sit here and say like Blizzard's had a good run, boys. We've done okay.
Yeah,
like
bye.
when we were starting to like buy, yeah. But I mean, like that might be the reality we're starting to reach to. Like, I mean, not that like. I don't think the Overwatch League has to be worried yet or anything like that. I don't think we're there yet.
I'm not even thinking about that at all.
No, but I think Blizzard as a corporation really needs to look at what they're doing and figure out what's going on. Because I've been preaching this since day one. Like Activision was not a good move, but I mean, like that's just me. Like that's I don't know. Maybe like there probably was a lot of things that were good about it, but I mean, like to me, it's just like once that has really come to light, once that's really happened, it's just been like one thing after another. So I'm not like Dylan. You probably have a different opinion on that.
No, I think it's a bad idea. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense if they're trying to do big things like the Overwatch League, and they're trying to produce big games and trying to be, you know, AAA giant hits. But I don't know, it's leading to them making a lot of wrong decisions, I think.
Yeah.
And also this is probably a part of the big huge restructure they're doing, which I mean is looking not so great. The restructure that they're doing, and you know, getting rid of a lot of senior members and turning everything over and make it more Activision focused, and it's not a good thing. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think much good's gonna come from it, guys. I don't know about me. I don't know about you, but
let's switch over to something that is still Activision Blizzard related, but a little bit on the better side. And let's kind of move into the Overwatch League and talk about, in my opinion, probably one of the biggest sponsors in all of esports was signed this last week. I don't know what you guys are gonna think, but I think so. In the last week, Coca-Cola signed as an official partner for the Overwatch League, which I think is huge, and it also brought in some clarity that there will be at least one more Overwatch World Cup. I know some people really were worried about that, but that was mentioned in a press release that they will be a partner for that as well, so that does confirm.
Well, I don't know, dude. Blizzard did also say that there was going to be another season of Heroes of the Storm, but
yeah, they did. So you literally I hate to say it, but you literally have to take everything they say with a grain of salt now, because not only did they told like multiple esports organizations that there would be like Liquid, man, Team Liquid, like one of the biggest biggest esports giants that are coming out of North America, and they really screwed them over. Press release. I mean, yes, it is associated with Coke. I just kind of spoiled it, but I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm like the wall is up for me as much as it is for Dylan. I think where I just don't.
So I thought the release for it was a little bit weird because it said they're the official non-alcoholic beverage of the Overwatch League now. Why would they say it like that? Are they
because they're not an alcoholic beverage? But they're
but why
just
would
leaves
you
it
say it's the
open to
official
there
drink?
being an alcoholic beverage. I'm sure it's just marketing terminology that agreed upon between the two.
But that's weird, though, right? I don't know. I feel like this weird. When you say it's the official drink, no, official soda.
Yeah.
Like why the official non-alcoholic drink? That's a really weird way to put it.
But I feel like if you go and look at that for like the NFL or things such as that, it just leaves it open to the Overwatch League signing an official alcoholic beverage or whatever. You know, like it's just leaving it open and not cutting corners because official beverage, well, then you can't have another beverage that's alcoholic come in. So you're just leaving it open is how I kind of take that. I'm not looking too deep into the wording of the contract or anything like that.
But
I mean,
yeah.
We might get an alcoholic sponsor. Like, I mean,
I
that
think
would be
that'd
kind
be
of
awesome. I don't see why not. I mean, it's definitely targeted at older and younger. I think if you can
I think it's a terrible idea.
What?
It's a horrible idea. I mean, it's on Disney XD, dude.
That's true.
I guess I'm the one here for the kids. Come on. Come on, Andrew.
The guillotine, man. The one that trademarked the block is here for the kids.
I'm saving the kids.
He did say he wanted to block anybody plus 40.
Yeah, I'm saving them.
Yeah.
They need parents.
Dylan's like the Peter parents. Like, he wants to kill all the parents and let them live in Never Never Land.
Okay, nope, we're moving on. I shouldn't have brought anything up, but I think that is a very cool partnership, and I think it's a very big one, and I don't think we've seen a name quite as large to be an official sponsor of that stake. I think car dealerships and kind of stuff like that, there's just so many car brands. I think we see those kind of coming in more frequently. But I think when Coke comes in and kind of endorses something that is a little bit different of a level of a sponsorship, I see that the same as if Nike came in and did all of the jerseys and stuff, or if like I guess Disney's already kind of part of the Disney XC, but they said this is like Disney backed and stuff like that. Like there are certain brands that when their name is associated, it kind of takes it next level, and I consider Coke to be one of them. Do we agree with that?
Kind of got hands and everything, so like yeah, it is for them. It is, yeah. Okay, I'll say that.
But kind of going on to the next thing. So like we said, Overwatch League this week, Thursday. I don't think we have too much to say. We'll talk about that so much more next week after it kind of happens. But what did happen for Overwatch League related that we didn't mention at all on last week's episode, the Overwatch League preseason. Do you know why we didn't mention anything about it in last week's episode? Because it wasn't announced until the middle of last week.
Yeah.
And
Yikes.
so what it was going to be is that on Saturday, Sunday, there's going to be scrims, and then there's going to be 1v1 Ashe tournaments, Ashe Widow tournaments, all kind of stuff, more kind of fun events kind of throughout that to kind of get people excited about the Overwatch League. I don't know. It was weird. It was very last minute. But I have a couple of problems with it. But did either one of you guys watch any of it? Do you kind of know what's been going on with the preseason so far?
I had zero idea. So actually earlier today we were figuring out stuff that we wanted to talk about. It was like, oh, do we Overwatch League preseason drama? I was like, I have no idea. And it's kind of
yeah, because I feel like a lot of people didn't want it to just like come up. Like the only reason I knew about it, like I knew about it happening, is because I got a notification in like the Mayhem Discord, and it was just like, oh, so it kind of took like precedent for me. Like it was like you said, it was really out of the blue. It was really rushed and stuff like that. Like so, I just didn't really know. I didn't have enough. Like I should tune into this. This should be fun, right? But
yeah.
yeah.
And it was a mess when something this last minute happens, and I consider you two to be at least semi-Overwatch fans, not hearing anything about it, so pretty much it started happening. You can kind of see where things started going wrong, and the first thing that went wrong right away is, so they called the games on Saturday, Sunday between teams, actual Overwatch League teams, scrims. But when they showed up, no one took them seriously. And I don't blame them at all, because it's 5 days before Overwatch League starts. No one wants to show their strategies or anything kind of like that. So people are playing a lot. Torbjorn, Symmetra, DPS were playing supports. Everyone was all over. Everyone was having fun. And personally, I enjoyed the little bit I watched. And that's kind of more of what I expected. But apparently that wasn't communicated well. When you call them scrims, people expect it to be serious, and some people were very unhappy. Some were exciting. It was all over it. And what kind of came out to be was Nate came out and said, we are so sorry that we disappointed our fans, and that the teams and players didn't take these scrims seriously. And because of that, we're switching over to mystery heroes instead. So that that drew the line right down the middle of, is this okay? Is this disrespectful for teams to not play their actual positions and champions and strategies in the preseason that was very last minute, it seemed like, at least to the public, to being announced? Or should they have played that? Should they have shown their strats? Should they have been taking it serious? Where do you guys kind of land on that line? Because I know where I stand. I know where a lot of people stand, but everyone seems to have a different opinion about what they should have done.
Dylan, do you want to go first or you want me to go?
Yeah, I'll just, I have quick thoughts on it. So I can empathize with the players, but everything should have been organized better so that this wouldn't happen. I think there is a way to have like a preseason thing and the players to still take it serious. So like, obviously I do fault the players a little bit, because this is something like for the fans, so you think they would actually play games, but I totally understand why they didn't. I mean, it's all the points that you touched on, Andrew, and their strats. It's right before, so like they're already stressed, probably practicing constantly for the past couple months. So I understand. I get it. I definitely.
Yeah, like I mean, like I think a lot of this should have been like, it could have been saved by calling them showing, because when people hear scrims, they're like, oh, I get to see, like, and show matches is like a loose term. Like, I mean, it's a, like, or exhibition games or something like that, you know what I mean? Where nobody's expected to take it seriously, right? But by calling them scrims, people expect, try hard kind of stuff. I don't expect in preseason, like, whenever I watch preseason games of anything, be it like, traditional sports or whatever, like, nobody's really, really going like hard. They're not giving a lot away. A lot of times they play their backups, so it's kind of gone traditionally over the years. So I don't really fault the teams. I sympathize with the teams a lot, because I feel like the teams just kind of like had a coalition where we're not going to show anything, because like Kate mentioned this in the chat, for any of our listeners, that it wasn't one team, it was every team. It was all the teams that basically they like all did this. They all screwed around. They all had fun. I mean, it like, I don't know, man. It like, from what I saw in like my personal fan base's Discord, like nobody was really that mad. Like they're like, okay, we get it. We get why they're doing this. It's fun to see them screw around and goof off. Or the rest of the fan bases, especially with the bigger teams and stuff like that. But I feel like that's not a far thought to expect from everybody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, and I'm very much kind of on the team sides. I mean, with it being, I mean, if this was 2 weeks ago, I mean, maybe before a patch, maybe a month ago, and I understand why they couldn't do that all out long ago. I don't know if this was a reaction because people were upset there was no preseason, if they wanted to wait till last minute to kind of wait to make sure everyone got visa issues dealt out. But to me, what a preseason is really good for is it's not about the team, it's not about the fans, it's about technical crews getting ready to actually do it live, so that opening day it's ready.
Yeah.
But none of the games were played on the official Overwatch League channel. None of them were played in the stadium. They were all hosted by well-known names in the community, and they all did a great job. I'm not taking away from them. But in terms of preseason, this did absolutely nothing in my mind to prepare anyone technically for opening day of Overwatch League. So I don't understand what the point of this was other than just to please fans. Because it being on other people's channels, like the Overwatch League channel wasn't even hosting some of the events right away. Like, it just seemed very scattered, seemed like a reaction to what the community wanted, and I felt like it being so close that, like, 5 days away, if anything, this talking about this has gotten me less excited because it was so close. I'm like, I could have waited 5 more days with no more Overwatch after a 7.5 month, 6 month, like, off season. I think you need to worry about the off season more than throwing something together 5 days before it happens.
Well, not only that, but I mean, like so despite the fact that they totally just like disregarded not sorting out technical issues, which, like you said, they should have done, because that's the point of pre. Like I don't think anybody would have been that upset. You know what I mean? Like you said, like, because we just saw a huge expansion with like a ton of teams, right? And like, I mean, you need more prep time to get those teams ready. You know, I'm sure, yeah, I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, I want Overwatch League, but I mean, at the same time, everybody gets that these teams need time to prep. They need to get their stuff together. They need to get like their branding, their clothing, like all that stuff. Like all that stuff needs to be sorted out, and that takes time. That takes a ton of time. So it's totally reasonable. So I don't know why this was pushed. To me, this is kind of like a marketing blunder. That it's like, yeah, we want to give you guys something to watch, but at the same time, like, it's a shit show, right? Like, enjoy. And like, just to clarify, it's not a shit show on the team's part. The guys had fun, but like, from like, just Nate, man, like, why'd you do it?
Yeah, and I think one of my biggest problems with all this is that he threw the teams under the bus. When to fans, it seemed like a last-minute, thrown-together thing that was not communicated very well to anything. So I felt like blaming any one party was not acceptable in my mind. I feel like as you're that, yes, you owe everything to your fans, but if anything, he should have taken on himself that clearly we did not communicate well enough. Clearly we wanted this to be taken seriously, and that is our fault. Going and putting it onto teams is not a good look for anyone, is how I see it. That as the head of the Overwatch League, anything that goes wrong outside of like player relations and things like that is on you. If we screwed up, if we said something stupid, we put it out there, I would take blame for it. We'd take blame for it. We wouldn't put it on the other people that made a mistake. We would take the blame for it, and that's kind of how I see it. And that's where my real issue with this kind of comes from.
Yeah, and like the big thing is too is like the trend that we've talked about, like in esports, and specifically these teams are making a big push to have more of a social media presence. And you can bet your ass that if this was something that was pre-planned like in advance, we would have had way more hype about it. There would have been way more. Teams would have been way more excited. And they probably would have been, hey, we're going to these are fun matches and stuff like that. And they people still would have got excited. You know what I mean? But there was nothing. There was none of that, right? So, yeah, just a mess.
That's a lot.
Feels bad.
Yeah, but Overwatch League is on Thursday. Hopefully that goes smoothly. I mean, whatever happened this weekend, whatever. Let's reset. Let's focus on Thursday. Let's get hyped for that. I know we'll all be watching it. I think Dylan, you'll be watching it a live watch party. I'll be watching along with some friends online. James, I don't know what you're doing. You're free to do.
I watch it by myself because who's a Florida fan in Nova Scotia?
We can watch it together, James, if it's your games are Thursday. Mine's not until Saturday.
Valiant play Friday, I believe.
Mine's on Friday, actually.
But I'm watching Thursday. I'm watching every single game Thursday no matter what. I'm watching every single game this entire weekend.
I mean, I'll try to do the same, honestly. Let's
jump into a new esport. Like, I'm not ready to call this
a new
What do you say?
Air quotes. Air quotes.
Yeah, air quotes.
Yeah, so I put the air quotes on it too. And so Apex Legends. Last week, I don't even think we mentioned it on the podcast because it had just launched that day. Like, it was way too... What?
We didn't know anything. Nobody knew anything.
Well, yeah, but it launched, and we were just starting to play. So, yeah, there was no mention of it last week. But then we got the notification that, they got 1 million unique players within, 8 hours. Super cool. Within 24 hours, they're at 2.5 million. At 48 hours, they're at 10 million. Now they're at 25 million. They are consistently number one on Twitch now for the most streamed games. All the large streamers are going there. And they just announced the first esports event for it, the Twitch Rivals event for NAEU, where some of the top streamers and players, or mainly just streamers now from other Battle Royale games, are going to be competing for actual money now. And we have our first organization, NRG, recruiting professional Apex players, which has been a big meme these last couple of days. The game's been out for a week and people are already claiming to be that. But a lot has happened. I mean, this game went from nothing to 25 million players in a week. Literally, it has been about a week since it launched. So what do you guys think about this first event coming out, about it being an esport? I still think it's too early personally, but what is your kind of whole take on this now that we've seen a week, it's starting to become a reality?
So I want to talk about it from the PR side. So just as just, I've barely watched it. I get the gist of it. I barely watch it, but this isn't a critique on the game itself. This is why it's this big. I will say that. So the reason why it's so big is obviously it's by EA, so a very big company behind it. And my sources tell me that apparently they paid all the top streamers. So I don't know if this was through the bounty system or if they reached out directly. I think they reached directly out to. Directly. Yeah, they really reached directly out to all the top streamers and was like, "Here's some money to play Apex. Play it for us." Now, in combination between that, a huge marketing push because it is EA, it basically just being a very good battle royale game, it lent itself to just being a huge hit. But they definitely landed a home run on the marketing aspect. 100% EA knew exactly what to do.
So yeah, I wouldn't when you say huge marketing push, like the streamers alongside the huge marketing push, their day one marketing push was streamers only. They did nothing else outside of the Twitch stream. They announced that they had a bunch of Twitch streamers play it. They paid them for like the first 48 hours or whatever, and then you started seeing it everything. There was no traditional marketing outside of streamers, celebrities, and things such as that until 48 hours after launch, when it started being on Twitch channels. You started seeing ads on like kind of the more traditional platforms and stuff like that. But their first initial 24 hours, and what the biggest thing was, is they had the top 10 personalities on all of Twitch playing this game, and they still are playing it because of how good the game is. If you anyone can pay a ton of money to get them playing the game for one day. But the fact that all these personalities are still staying with that game and no longer being paid to do so says something about the game, which is what I really love.
To me, it was a really ballsy move because you're putting it in the hands of streamers. Streamers have you can't just absolutely destroy our game after we've paid you to play it. There's nothing to stop that, but it went the totally opposite way. EA built a phenomenal game. Everybody loved, people like Shroud Summit. Everybody, of course, they're gonna hype it up. It's gonna be if it's a good game, they're not afraid to say this is a great game. You also play it. You know what I mean? It was a really smart marketing. I think I disconnected. Did I?
Oh, we can still hear. You're freezing, but we
can still hear. Okay, cool. I'm freezing. Yeah. I apologize. We're starting to get inclement weather. But yeah, no. So I think it was just a really good move. It was a really smart move. We're only starting to see Twitch ads now, of the game itself after its success, and now it's continuing to do so. So, I apologize for.
Yeah, we really apologize for technical issues tonight. It's been beyond bad. I'll figure that out for next episode. But I think I'm one of the only few people that are doing well here right now. But we're talking more than marketing, the PR side of all that kind of stuff instead of esports. But it's just such a unique kind of happening in video games as a whole. And we'll get to the esports part in a minute. But I want to make this clear to any other game developers out there. This will not work for every game.
Oh, God. No.
There are going to be people that try to do these flash launches and stuff like that. And this was the perfect storm, and this is going to be tried to be replicated because of how successful it is. And you have to have that good game. The free-to-play, if it was ever done with a paid game or anything kind of like that, they have this game and Anthem releasing the same month, and these are totally two different marketing plans. I love that. I could talk about the marketing of all this for a very, very long time because, honestly, I think this is one of the most impressive marketing tactics and kind of video games in a while now that have done this and actually had it been successful.
I actually want to disagree a little bit. I think that's just because we're hearing about it directly, but I'm pretty sure Black Ops did something very similar. Now, it wasn't a like as big of a hit, but it was a pretty big
But
hit.
it was
Like
advertised
the
ahead
battle
of time.
royale.
I'm saying that the Shadow Drop with just streamers playing it is what they did. Their marketing effort was to drop a couple of things, do a reveal stream, pretty much out of nowhere. There's rumors that EA is launching a new battle royale. That's all anyone knew, and that was about a week in advance. And that was only because I think that information was leaked purposely. But Blackout had a huge marketing push. That was the number one thing they pushed for Blackout. And I'm saying that this Shadow Drop is so unique with how they did it, and that it will not work for any other games because this was free to play. It was excellently made. It was a very unique twist on Battle Royale, and it has a reputable name behind it with the kind of the Titanfall universe tied with it. So, I don't know.
Not only that, they've also released a development roadmap. With the game
right away. They told this is what's coming, which is something PUBG screwed up on too when they're sticking with Battle Royale games. Is that this game seems like it's going to consistently update and keep on with that.
Yeah, so as far as marketing that way, I feel like there's enough information, there's enough data out there to learn where the pitfalls were in certain things like this. It was still a really ballsy move, but even after the ballsy move kind of happened, they're like, okay, we know to do this thing, and this thing, just so we don't shoot ourselves in the foot later down the road, right? They've already been really, really quick on correcting a lot of player interface bugs. Or not so much bugs, but quality of life things party chat and stuff like that, which it wasn't a thing initially. So, but I think we should really switch gears into the esports.
As much as we love video games, we're not a video game podcast. Let's talk about this Twitch Rivals thing and where do we see this going in terms of esports? I mean, every time a new game comes up and becomes popular, oh my god, it's going to be the next esports. Everyone's trying to switch over to be pro and that. Whenever a new game comes out, this is what happens. I just had a friend pop in Apex Legends right now, so. A lot of people are playing it, but do we think there's... I mean, I hate talking about it so early because of it's only been out a week, but what do we think about the esports scene for this?
I mean, if people play it, it's an esport. I mean, that's the only real baseline for it. So, I mean, if you want to play it competitively, then it's an esport. But I think it is a little energy, and everyone making pushes for it. I think it's a little much. I think it's a little much this soon. But
yeah, and go on, James.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I know. I agree that it is we're jumping the gun a little bit, because again we are only a week out. That being said, though, the game does lend itself to a lot of team-based strategy. I know a lot of BR remote squads, but you can queue solo and stuff like that. Apex isn't like that. It's very I know you haven't played it and stuff like that, but it's very it lends itself to using three characters that kind of synchronize well together and stuff like that, and stuff. But it kind of relies on you to have a team that you really work together and stuff like that. It enables team play, not so much solo play. So we might see a drop off from that, and that's what I'm kind of worried about. Is that it doesn't lend itself well, implement stuff that might change that. That being said, though, this kind of it's structured better for it. But again, I think a week out and being we're gonna get Apex. They're not I think that is a really, really gutsy move. I think NRG, and this is just me commenting on basically the organization as a whole, kind of what I've seen over the course of the years. I think this is them trying to get themselves back, because NRG are they're a parent corporation for some other teams and stuff like that, but the NRG brand itself is kind of not that big as it used to be. I mean, they had a brief stint in League of Legends and it kind of floundered. There's team brands that I wouldn't be surprised to kind of try and make the same push, like Dig and Toss and stuff like that, to get themselves back into the limelight, some of these older brands. But I think this is just a big push by a lot of people who are trying to stay relevant.
Yeah, and I really now, even when the Fortnite professional players, when they get signed by a team, they're more or less streaming personalities. I mean, anyone being signed to Apex right now is they're being played to stream Apex. They're not. It's not the same as signing to a team as a League of Legends player right now. It is usually more streamer personalities are kind of what these professional Apex players are, is that they just spend all day playing the one game and they're paid and supported by a team. It's really what it is. It's not like because we have Twitch rivals right now, but it's not like they're being sent off to tournaments. It's not something like that.
Yeah.
So it's really, you're being signed as a streamer, as an Apex player, is really what those kind of are. And I mean, esports is the kind of the professional, competitive side of gaming. And to be professional means you are paid to do something full time, or it pays your bills pretty much. So what it means to be professional in something. So if you are signed by a team and it pays your bills and you play the game, you're a pro Apex player, which means there is an esports scene. So it's jumping the gun of a league. We're not talking anything about that, but the game has just been so unique, like Fortnite has been the last 2 years now, that it's something we have to talk about, because when a game comes like this and blows up so quick, that's a conversation that started happening like last Wednesday. Like 2 days after the game came out, people started talking about esports and stuff like that. So with how big it is, I feel like we had to talk about it. Are we pushing for the Apex League? No.
I wouldn't complain. I think they still have a long way to go to really get that. And the question I wanted to ask was, because I didn't really look at the roadmap, I know it exists and stuff like that. But did they have anything laid out, being like, this is what we're going to do it to gear it towards esports? Was there any mention of that, or was it entirely game based?
No, the roadmap looked more at content. So like character drops, like a season pass, that kind of stuff. I mean, I may have missed it if there's any esports mention, but I didn't see them do anything about that. But that Twitch rival thing was probably planned ahead of time. I mean, that's not something that can be thrown together quickly. I mean, maybe it could, but I feel like that's something that was planned before the launch of the game alongside Twitch, because Apex obviously did take up the Twitch's front page for advertising. So there may be more little events planned like that. EA is a large company, and I'm sure they understand the importance of esports. But I didn't see if there's any announcements on competitive officially through EA or anything.
And like, I can't. I'm not going to sit here and try and say Twitch Rivals is an esport.
No, but if you're getting paid to play a game, you have a chance to win money. That is at grassroots level esports. If you have a chance to win money playing a game, that is at the base level esports, right?
I think that's a stretch.
I would say like it's just playing the game competitively. I don't even think money needs to be involved for it to be an esport, but
I would say if there's like a degree of sustainability, like there was concurrent tournaments for it and stuff like that, but there's not. Twitch Rivals will have games that include big names behind it. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, and it's on an invitational base. So much it is like an open tournament, you know what I mean? So yes, I do, like
Well, that's how like the first Magic the Gathering thing is.
You don't like how you're saying it.
Oh, I'm just saying if you're using that concept.
There's like a line for it though, like being set up already. Like it's
true. They've announced their
thing,
backing,
but they're saying it.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, because Apex is being like, let's start the steps towards making this an esport, you know what I mean, or like a sustainable esport. Like, I mean,
but it's a week out. That's not a conversation. No game should launch with esports in mind. Every game should base. You can't.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No game should launch Monday and announce Thursday in esports league. It should be a month out. It should be. This game isn't a fad. It's staying around. Okay, let's take these steps in.
Yeah.
If in 3 weeks it's still the #1 game on Twitch, all large personalities are playing it. The player base is growing. There are 25 million players in a week. At this rate, if they keep growing at this rate, they'll be at 100 million people by the end within a month. Like, if it's still growing at that rate, it is doing those large numbers. Yes, you can start looking at the fall skirmish kind of things of Apex in like the format style or something more like that, and start flushing out that scene. But right now, this game could be a fad. This game could die in 2 weeks, like some other have. We saw Realm Royale. We saw the one I can't even think of what it was called. Multiple battle royales have done good for a week or two, and then died. So even thinking about esports on the EA side right now is still too early, I think. We can talk about it here because that's what we're here for, but on their side, they should wait a couple weeks and make sure that this isn't just a fad.
Andrew's professional opinion, guys. EA, listen, take notes.
I thought Dylan was Mr. Esports Worldwide or whatever. I thought he was.
I'll sign off on that statement though.
There we go. Dylan Beal.
I gave you the approval. It's good. Yeah. It's good to send, boys. Clip it and ship it. Let's go.
Clip it and ship it. But with that, that does wrap up our last big 3 stories of the day. All 3 of them were pretty big in media. We want to talk about those a lot. But we do have a couple of honorable. What? Don't look at it. Don't give me that look.
Me?
Yeah, you're giving me that look.
Me? No. You're not getting a look yet. Don't worry.
But we do have a couple of honorable mentions that we'll make a couple of small comments on here and there about that. But James, you actually linked something right before we went live, which is kind of on the borderline of the two. You want to fill us in on Valve actually taking credit for something?
Yeah, it's really nice to see. God love Valve. So a little while ago, I don't know if listeners remember, but it was a big deal with Valve, and I'm going to butcher the pronunciation. It's Chong Qing, I believe is how you say it. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation. The Invitational for Dota. It was actually a crazy good event. I watched a good portion of it. But leading up to this, there was a banning of a player by the name of Cuckoo. I believe I'm saying his name right. Basically, they were saying that the Chinese government was banning this player for things he had said, and like basically China was taking the fall. It turns out for Valve. Valve actually owned up and said in a release today on, I believe it was on Reddit, today after saying like, no guys, this was us. We told Chinese officials to do this. And it's weird to see this level of accountability from somebody so big that like, I know a lot of the Dota fans probably haven't forgotten. I know because it started creeping out into the esports realm as a whole. But like I know like many other games, like Dota wouldn't forget this. But the other esports event like realms kind of did, and then Valve basically just brought it back into themselves and being like, "No, guys, you know what? We should probably tell everybody this was our doing." So, kudos to Valve, but at the same time, screw you, Valve, for basically sicking the Chinese officials after this player.
Yeah, because I remember we talked about this. We talked about them being banned before this. Like, leading up to the event, we were talking about, like, what was kind of going on, that it was kind of sketchy here. So it's first off really weird that it's been, like, 2 months, hasn't it? This was, like, last year, wasn't it?
So the banning was about, it was 2 months ago. The Invitational was a month ago. And I feel like they just kind of, like, let the flames settle and we're like, okay, now we can say something. So...
Yeah, they're like, okay, this has no relevance anymore. We can take credit for it. It's kind of how I read it as. Dylan, do you have a different take on that? But this is like, yeah, sure, we did it. It's not going to affect us anymore.
Yes, like I don't know, man.
I actually think Dylan is frozen right now.
Froze.
So we will jump into the next one, and hopefully he kind of joins us in with this. But this would have been perfect for him to talk about. But I think this is first off super cool. Is that in Pennsylvania, they now have a designated esports day and month.
Yep. They did it, guys. They're the first ones to do it.
Like, what is it? So it's February was the official esports month, and what day was it?
February 6th is esports day.
So that is, I mean, is it small? I mean, it's not like a paid holiday or anything like that. Like, you can designate anything to be a month or a day. Everything, like, every month is like 13 different. This is the esports month. This is whatever history month. This is anything kind of like that. So it's not like it's a big deal, but it is something really cool. Oh, we just lost.
You lost Dylan entirely
there. So, oh boy.
2 seconds.
Yes. Oh boy.
While Andrew's sorting this out, I will provide great commentary. Basically, yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, it doesn't mean anything spectacular. It doesn't mean anything crazy. But I mean, it's just kind of nice to see that, Pennsylvania is starting to make this first big push to, the esports being recognized state, honestly. But good for them. I want to give some credit, I think, to the Philly Fusion. I think the Philly Fusion have brought a lot of regional pride to Philadelphia, or Pennsylvania. I'm getting the two mixed up. I think I am. Andrew, I know you can't really weigh in right now, so I'm kind of just like, I was kind of crediting the Philly Fusion for Pennsylvania, but
Philadelphia is in Pennsylvania. Yes, I can.
It is okay. Firm, excellent. Okay, guys, I apologize. I am Canadian. My American geography is not top tier.
And I apologize for losing Dylan and having very unique things on the screen right now. We are almost there, though. I'm so sorry for all the technical issues we've had today. But we should be back up. I am now on screen. James is on screen. we again apologize for everything. It was good that this kind of happened towards the end, but thank you all for dealing with all the issues we've had.
Yeah, I know. So yes, I once again, guys, I apologize. I am not very familiar with the states and towns and capitals and all that good stuff. We only have 13 provinces and territories up here. It's pretty simple. Dylan, actually, I don't know. I think like he was getting real angry about Apex being
we started talking about Pennsylvania without him, and he's like, "Nope, I'm gone. This is my topic and no one else's."
Yeah, exactly. But so yeah, I think. Do you think Philly? Do you think you can credit Philly Fusion for some of this? Do you think they like?
I think so. I know the Pittsburgh Knights, obviously in Pennsylvania as well, have been doing a lot of big things too. Penn State Esports seems to be one of the more active organizations there as well too. So I feel like between all these forces and just kind of their respecting and seeing that the money is being put into that it's a thing now. That it doesn't, once again, like I said, it doesn't have any recognition. Like, who in a couple years again, who can know if or care if it's Esports Month? Like, it doesn't hurt the state of Pennsylvania by dubbing a day Esports Day or Esports Month. No. So they had nothing to lose by doing this, but they only had things to gain, which is another thing why they see that okay, this is a trend. People are talking about this. A lot of people in our state are getting invested in this. We have nothing to lose. Let's jump on this bandwagon like a lot of other brands are doing, but this is a state doing it. It's pretty much the only difference how I kind of see it.
Well, that's just it. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like, and they put themselves at the forefront with this, being like, "Hey guys, we already did it." Like, like this is a good thing. And I feel like this will like lead into other stuff like early education or like early recognition for education in esports and stuff like that, right? Like, I think it's just more promotion, more perpetuation. It's all around a good thing.
Yeah.
No negatives about this. I love it.
And then do we have one more honorable mention to talk about today?
Yes, we do. Which was also Dylan as well. Basically, shouting out to Aiden Hiko over at Dot Esports for their healthy gaming articles. Basically, I actually haven't read any of these articles. This clearly was very much a Dylan thing.
This is a Dylan thing.
Yeah, he's currently trying to rejoin us. But yeah, we'll probably let's just be safe this in a later episode. Dylan can give it full credit, and we can be a little more better informed on the topic.
Yeah,
I think it's probably safe.
I guess what I can't talk about though is that we are finally getting to the point now where, like, even on TV now, they're starting to talk about it. That how esport. I saw this documentary somewhere on Twitter that someone, like, it was news clips and stuff, where he's going in and like they were actually talking like, oh, like you actually do workout regimens, you actually have a diet, and I think that's kind of what this is pushing too. That there is that side of esports too, and that it's starting to become a little bit more recognized. That he's doing a good job of calling it out and helping with that is what my guess is kind of what it is. I just love seeing that people outside of esports are recognizing that yes, these athletes, these players, whatever you want to call them, we don't have a name for them yet. I'm never calling them an e-athlete. I'll call them players. But that they actually do train, they do follow a regimen, they do take this as seriously as regular athletes is what I love to see, that this is actually starting to happen.
Yeah, no, and like I mean, for a lot of people in the scene, like this is a more known thing to people. It's starting to get exposure outwards. Like, I mean, for example, like if you are involved in the scene and you do follow these teams specifically, for example, CLG does like highly promotes meditation. It's a big thing that Weldon, their new coach, is really big on. My interview with Moody, he had mentioned that the Lakers basically have their fitness camp with Uriah Faber. I don't know if Uriah Faber is a name familiar to you, but he is also known as the California Kid. He's a UFC fighter. He's insane. He's in incredible shape for his age. He's like 40. He looks younger than me. Like it's ridiculous. So yeah, no, this is like the esports realm is aware of that, and they know they need to do this. And now it's finally getting out, living in our parents' basements. We're not just pounding back Mountain Dew and Hot Pockets like. This training regimen
to be doing. If we're being
I personally still do that, and like, listen to me. It's a huge thing, and it's great. I'm glad like that is becoming a public thing, right?
I think that's probably going to be best, though. I think that's a good honorable mention. I wish Dylan would have been here to talk about it a little bit more.
Me too, yeah.
But I think with all of the technical issues we're having and all that kind of stuff, I think we should just kind of wrap it up now rather than try to wait it out for Dylan or anything like that. Again, we apologize so much for all the technical issues we have. We'll have all that ironed out for next week, and this will not happen. Thank you all that have stayed in the chat, interacted with us, and still hung out with us despite all the problems. It does mean the world to us, especially when we're having a bad stream. You guys staying here and interacting means even more to us, so thank you all so much for that. But with that, this has been a very messy episode of the Project Esports podcast. We go live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 Central, 7:30 Atlantic Time, Canadian Time, whatever you want to call it, on twitch.tv/the Game Haus. And then we get published live on Tuesdays on YouTube and podcasting services, including Spotify, Apple Play, Music Play, and whatever other platform you listen to podcasts on. So make sure to go tune in there, and that all means so much. But James will tell you a little bit more about that.
What am I telling them about? Because you just said everything.
No, how much it means to all of us.
Oh God, yes. Oh my Jesus, yeah, absolutely. So guys, I try and make an active effort to interact with anybody who tunes into our live streams. So guys, anybody who has popped around, thank you so much. Anybody who credits pays homage to my cat hat as well, big fan as well. So yes, guys, thank you a ton. It's all greatly.
Yeah, James.
I'm so appreciative. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
He cut out on my
every single
end.
thing you do, every message, every comment, every rating, anything you do that interacts with us, even a like on Twitter, means the world to each and every one of us. That's what James was trying to say. But thank you so much for tuning in to the Project Esports podcast. I'm cutting you off before you can get more people mad at you. But I am Andrew. And here's Dylan. This is James. And thank you all for watching the Project Esports podcast. We will see you guys later. Thank you very much.